the restrictions that are in place for those 6 local government areas. One other thing I forgot to mention in my earlier update is you would have seen that New South Wales has removed the restrictions on Walgett, so we will similarly put them back into the border zone, allowing that small amount of movement, so that will happen from 1 a.m. tomorrow. And New South Wales has put stay-at-home restrictions in place for Kyogle, so we will also put those higher level of restrictions in place for Kyogle from 1 a.m. tomorrow.
Do you think, sorry, one more for Dr. Do you think the NRL Grand Final will go ahead?
We just need to see what happens over the next few days. So we've put in place those restrictions, the 75% capacity limit, and that people must wear masks at all times, except when they're in their allocated, seated, ticketed seat, when they can take them off if they're having something to eat or drink.
Sorry, Dr. We're on school holidays, but do you have any concern about movement this long weekend? People being taken live from Brisbane Council into other regions?
That's a very good point. So people, when you move out of one of those 6 LGAs, you take those restrictions with you wherever you move. So you need to wear a mask at all times. You need to be seated when you're eating and drinking. So you've got to follow exactly the same restrictions as if you're at home. And those people who are coming from areas that don't have those restrictions, when they come into an area that does have the restrictions, so say someone's been up at Cairns and they're coming back to Brisbane, then when they come into Brisbane, they're bound by the restrictions when they enter Brisbane.
Thank you. The NRL said the next 36 hours notice to move the game north to Townsville. Would you make a decision as late as 36 hours out from the game?
No, we'll see what's happening on Sunday morning.
Have you spoken to the NRL to where are those discussions? What's he leading towards?
The head of tourism has been and sport has been speaking with the NRL, but can I just make it very clear? If the advice is to go into lockdown, we will go into lockdown. Okay, so there's no ifs and buts here, people. This is serious. So it's going to depend whether we see any unlinked community transmission over the next 24, 48 hours.
Are you hopeful it'll go ahead though? Based on what the current outbreak, given there's no unlinked cases?
Sorry, Lydia, I can't hear you.
Sorry, given there's no unlinked cases, are you hopeful that the game's going to be able to
Well, it's going to depend what happens tomorrow. It's going to depend on what's happening the next day. But it's encouraging news today. It's encouraging news today that we do not have any unlinked community transmission when we've had a high level of testing.
And the Prime Minister...
What you've said, you'd have no qualms. Sorry,
I will have no qualms. Okay, people know me. They know Dr. Young. Dr. Young gives us the advice. We will act immediately and we will act swiftly and we will go hard and we will go fast. No ifs and no buts. Sorry?
Just one unlinked case?
It will depend on the situation. We will get that advice. Okay, but at the moment we've got great contact tracers. They're doing their job and they're not unlinked.
The Prime Minister's
plan for international travel.
Well, I look forward to hearing about the plan. I understand that the Prime Minister will be doing a press conference at 10:30. I look forward to hearing about that plan. It has not been distributed in any papers to National Cabinet prior to National Cabinet's meeting.
The Prime Minister is expected to announce that it'll reopen in November. Will Queensland have reached 80% vaccination by then?
I'm not going to agree to anything when I haven't seen any formal paperwork, Lydia. It would be irresponsible, and I think Queenslanders would expect me to see some paperwork to understand the issues before an announcement is made. So it's a bit disappointing that we haven't been given that due courtesy before National Cabinet.
Would you be against the border reopening before Queensland reaches 80% vaccination?
What I've said very clearly, and Dr. Young has said this, the Health Minister has said this, we need to be in a situation where every eligible person, so every eligible person in that cohort is offered a vaccine. Now, what I'd like to see from the federal government, we're running campaigns at the moment to get people vaccinated. It'd be great to see the federal government focusing on a national campaign to really drive those vaccination rates up. We've got to make sure we're getting out to our Indigenous communities, that people with a disability are getting vaccinated. And of course, I've said previously, we need to have a plan for those children who will be unvaccinated.
New South Wales will allow people who are double vaxxed to come back to Australia and quarantine for 7 days. Will Queensland follow?
My understanding is they're doing a trial and South Australia is doing a trial. I think we would need to see the results of that trial.
If we quite the minister, if
Sorry, any more for me?
Oh, yes, with the Doherty modelling National Cabinet, when will Queensland...
Well, we haven't got the updated modelling, so I'd love to see the updated modelling.
Once you do receive it, when will Queenslanders know your kind of plans?
When I see the updated modelling,
What specific details are you looking for in the modelling to make those kind of decisions?
well, the Doherty people have gone off to do some further work, and that has not come back into National Cabinet yet. If it doesn't come in today, I understand it's coming in at the end of the month.
Do you expect ICU...
Oh, sorry, middle of the month, sorry.
Do you expect...
We're in October now, so it goes very quickly.
Do you expect hospital ICU searches to be discussed in National Cabinet, and what will you be pushing for?
I might get the Health Minister to discuss that because she's been speaking with the other health ministers. But let me say this is another crucial factor. Not only do we need to make sure that we get as many people vaccinated as possible,